2.5 minutes, they're going to get a little reminder that we're just about ready to finish. All of them will, of course, prep themselves so they'll finish exactly at the 6-minute mark. So I don't even need to be here. Anyway, that being said, so I'm going to do this alphabetically. So the first person alphabetically is David Huffman. I'm going to give him a brief introduction before he comes up here. Debut fiction writer David Huffman describes himself as an engineer by education, a website designer by initiative, a contractor by trade, and an occasional musician and artist by avocation. After retiring from a lifetime of transactional writing, he's now immersed into fiction, inspired by the likes of Raymond Chandler. So if I could have David Huffman come up here and get ready to go.
We get extra time for using a microphone.
Less.
Murder at 11 Wellington. Disaster struck Ottawa late on 3rd February 1916 when fire broke out in the reading room of the Parliament buildings. The bitter cold played havoc with rescue attempts and the frozen firefighting hoses. Reports indicated that the fire had raged quickly, but by early morning it was almost under control, although there was another outbreak later. Confusion reigned on Parliament Hill as the city was full of war refugees and soldiers, French, American, British, German, many of them standing in the cold to watch the inferno. "Who's in charge?" he asked the first person he finds in a uniform. "Renault, Inspector Louis Renault, head of the Dominion Police. He's over there," pointing. He walks over. "Renault, I'm Ferguson, George Ferguson, special investigator from the Attorney General's office." "Yeah, as you can see, I'm a little bit busy." "I'm not here to be a bother. I need to know if everybody has been accounted for, who's missing." "It's a bit early to tell." "Is there a team searching for bodies yet?" "They started a couple of hours ago, even though the rubble was quite hot. We've set up a temporary morgue across Wellington in the basement of the Dominion Police offices. Check with the coroner, a guy named Fines. He should be there." Looking at his watch, "I have to get back there anyway, so I can introduce you." Thanks to the cold weather, the buildings had already cooled enough for the fire marshal to start investigating the possibility of arson, and perhaps find more bodies. Extra constables were brought in to help with the search, and they were receiving assistance from the local police and the army. In the morgue, introductions seemed almost automatic as they do in times of crisis. Staff Sergeant Lucille of the Dominion Police was already with Fines. 9 bodies were lying on individual stainless steel tables. The coroner looked forlorn. Preliminary autopsy results have identified the 7 bodies that appeared on your list of missing staff, said Fines. "They just brought in another 2 bodies. "Another 2, said Ferguson. "Yes," said Lucille. 2 security guards. "Well, enough said for now." Fines continued. "There is obviously something underhanded going on here." He led them to the last 2 tables. "These 2 have their hands and feet tied. They are gagged. What's going on here?" Renault said, "At present that's classified, as will your autopsy results. Eyes only to my attention. Understood?" Fines stared at Renault. He understood. Renault led Ferguson and Lucille back to his office. Ferguson couldn't take the suspense anymore. "Are you going to let me in on what's going on, or do I have to pull rank?" Okay. Renault shut the door. "What I'm going to tell you two is top secret. Not even the Prime Minister knows. Absolutely top secret and classified. During the evening last night, there was a meeting on the Hill about the war. A highly sensitive, very secret meeting. I can't emphasize that enough. The meeting was to discuss the Canadian war commitment. Topics range from staff changes, troop deployments, code books, new armament designs, production figures, and manufacturing locations. Even more sensitive are the names of those who attended the meeting. Sir Albert Kemp, Minister of Defense, Sir George Purley, Minister of Overseas Military Forces, and John Hazen, Minister of the Naval Service. There was also a Dominion Police Constable, Jacques Vanier, present. Our staff has already interviewed their families. Kent and Danae are still unaccounted for. Pearlie and Hazen had left the meeting early. Fergus was about to speak, but Renault held up his hand and said, "Let me finish." The House was in session last night. My staff is continuing to meet with families of those who are known to have been in the House. The list the coroner had was only preliminary. Those 7 in the morgue are accounted for, but the other 2? Suddenly there was a loud knocking on the door, and a flustered man in uniform burst in, Fire Marshal Jake Cameron. Search efforts were initially concentrated in the area of the DoD Ministry Office, puffed Cameron. When we look for aspects of arson, we look for the obvious. In this case, it is reversed. Nothing's there. "Jake, stop," said Renault. "Just what are you talking about?" Cameron sat down and took a moment to pull himself together. Due to the nature of the files and documents that the Defense Department handles, they are kept in steel ring binders, in old steel filing cabinets with combination locks, or steel bookcases. But they're all empty. Well, at least most of them. Most of the files appeared to be gone. Disappeared. Flew away. Poof.
Wow.